So this video will show you how to fix a broken chain on a bike. For doing any kind of work on your chain, you're going to need a tool called a chain breaker or a chain tool. Mine looks like this. They're not very expensive, between $10 and $15, but they're really useful, and there's really not a lot you can do with your chain if you don't have one of these, so definitely worth investing in one. So this chain broke a few days ago, and it broke because this link here got bent and it pulled itself out of the pin. Probably this side came out first, and then it was going around and the other side got caught, or this pin got caught on something, and that's what caused it to rip apart. So you'll notice that chains have two different kind of links. There's this kind here at the end, which has two plates which are connected on the inside, and there's this kind here where the two plates are connected on the outside. So since every other link is different, you always have to do things on chains in pairs. So since this is the damaged link here, I want to remove that. So I could remove it here, but as I was just saying, you need to remove two at a time, because if I just removed it here, then I have two ends which were connected on the inside, and you'd never be able to connect them together. So I'm going to take this link here off, as well as the link beside it off. So to do that, I use my chain tool, and I insert the two forks from the chain tool inside around the pin that's holding the chain together, and then I got this knob here which I turn, and basically as you turn this, make sure it's all lined up nicely. This pin is lined up with the pin in the chain, and you just turn it gradually. And as you turn it, you'll notice that on this side the pin is starting to be pushed out. You can see it right there, it's coming. And after you get it started, it gets easier all of a sudden. And just keep going. But you don't want to push this pin all the way through, because then you'll never be able to push it back in again. So once you get it to about how you see it there, so that there's a few millimeters sticking out, then you back this pin off here and you pull it out of the chain tool, and then by wiggling it back and forth, you should be able to get those two links of chain off. So if you ever had a chain failure when you're out on the trail or on the road somewhere, all you'd need to do is just to take out the old link like that, and then you can put them back together, and you'd be removing those two links. But it's really not that critical, because a bike like this has a derailleur down here which is designed to take the slack out of your chain. So a derailleur allows you to have a little bit of variance in the length of your chain. So if I was out on the trail, I would just remove this extra pin from this link here like that, and then you could just put them back together like that, and then use the chain tool in reverse, and you'd be back to where you started. But since I'm at home, I'd rather not shorten my chain if I don't have to, since I do have this extra two links which were from this original chain already. So all I've got to do to connect them is to put this link through this one, like that, and then put this one through that one, like that, and I'll have a chain which is exactly the same as the one I started with. So you just put it back in the chain tool with it on the opposite side, so the pin is sticking out on this side, and then just line everything up, and then just slowly use the crank, push it through, and then when you've got it, and then you stop when you've got this pin so that it's equal distance on either side. So right now it's still sticking out a little bit on this side, so I'm going to push it a little bit further through. Just kind of trial and error. If you get it a little bit too far, then flip it around and push it back like that. That looks pretty good. And you'll notice at first when you put it there, it's not going to want to bend very nicely, but you can fix that by bending the chain in this orientation like this. That gets everything moving nicely. And now that link is just as good as any of the other links in this chain here. You'll never know that that wasn't put in there like at the factory. So now before I connect these last two links together, I'm going to put the chain back on the bike. So when you put the chain back on the bike, make sure you feed it through the right paths through both derailleurs so that it's going to work properly once you get it back together. And it's best to put it so that the sticking out pin is on the outside, because it's a little bit more difficult to get the derailleur tool or the chain tool in this area here. And when I did this, I put it so that the chain was not even on a chain ring at the front, and on the back it's on the smallest one, so that there's the most amount of slack in the chain, so it's not, you know, pulling against you when you're trying to work on it. So just as I said before, you just pull this pin so it's sticking out, and then insert it into the chain tool like that, and then just hold it and line everything up nicely, just like that. Just push. And there it goes through, like that. And as I said before, try and get it so that it's about halfway sticking out on either side. And there it's finished, and then just do what we did before and bend it back and forth, and it's as good as new. So for this job, I didn't end up needing to buy a new chain for my bike. I was just able to use the existing one I already had, and I just spliced it back together. Chains aren't very expensive, but something you want to watch out for is if you ever change a chain. If you put a brand new chain on a bike like this, it's been ridden quite a bit, you're going to notice that there's going to be a lot of skipping, or there might be a lot of skipping on your cassette at the back. And the reason that happens is because this chain and this cassette wear at the same rate. So as this chain goes around and around and around while it's being used, very gradually these little cups, scoops in the outside of the chain become a little bit deeper, and at the same time as that's happening, the sprockets at the back, they get scooped out a little bit deeper, and they still work great together, but as soon as you change either the cassette or change the chain, they're not going to work well together. So in this case, it made the most sense for me to keep this chain, since it has been really reliable so far, and because that means I can keep the same sprocket at the back, and even at the front. These ones get worn down too, but it's more noticeable on the back ones because they're smaller. In the next month or so, if I have more problems with this chain, if it breaks again, then I might consider buying a new chain. So this concludes my tutorial on repairing chains. Thanks for watching.